Power does not crown the passive. It does not anoint the dreamer. Power bows only to the disciplined. Every day you drift, every hour you squander, you hand your destiny to another man, and then you excuse it as fate. Number. Fate is nothing but laziness, masquerading as philosophy. Today, the pleading ends. You stop begging fortune for mercy. You stop waiting for doors to open. You seize the hinges and rip them off yourself. This is not motivation. This is command doctrine. Audit your hours with the brutality of a tyrant. Salt the earth of every excuse. Forge yourself into the standard, the measure that shames the room into rising. Move, advance, strike. Power never bends to hesitation. It bends only to the man who acts first, acts hard, acts without apology. The throne is not given. The wheel is not shared. Take it, or be carried wherever others decide you belong. Rule time with an iron fist. Have you ever looked at your calendar and realized it doesn't belong to you? Your day is not ruled by you, but by distractions, by other people's petty demands, by impulses you didn't even choose. That ends now. Your calendar is your battlefield. You either command it like a general or surrender it like a peasant. Your calendar is your character. What you measure with brutality, you improve with precision. Think. If I seized your phone right now and checked your screen time, would I see a sovereign or a supplicant? A man of power or a man building alibis? Here's the truth. You hoard intentions and bankrupt execution. You aren't busy. You're undisciplined, weak, addicted to the sugar of notifications. You leak minutes into the gutter, scrolling, fretting, reacting, then whimper, "I didn't have time." Pathetic. Every excuse is a thief. Every wasted hour is a soldier that deserted you, and you held the gate open. If you ran your kingdom the way you run your time, would it survive an invasion, or would it crumble at the first drumbeat? Machiavelli was ruthless about this. He warned rulers that survival depends on one discipline above all: war. A prince ought to have no other aim or thought, nor select anything else for his study than war and its rules and discipline. Why? Because while others slept, the prince trained. And when dawn came, he crushed them. Your life is no different. Your time is your army. Your schedule is your fortress. Fail to drill it, and fortune sacks your city. Today, distraction is the enemy at the gate. Netflix, endless notifications, office gossip. These are invaders. Routine, structure, discipline. These are your walls. Without them, you're naked in the field. Here's what a Machiavellian does with time. Run a 72-hour audit. Track every minute. No mercy, no exceptions. Classify every block. Build, moves you forward. Defend, maintains what matters. Bleed, drains you dry. Execute one cut per day. Remove a single bleed block and replace it with one build rep. Just one. Small victories compound. Small cuts become sieges won. Install hard gates. First 90 minutes, deep work. Phone exiled to another room. Zero contact, non-negotiable. Hold a weekly war council. Spread the map. Where are your troops bleeding out? Which fronts are soft? Reassign. Fortify. Strike. Stop waiting to find time. You don't find time. You conscript it. You drag it into formation and give it orders. Every minute must bow. Every hour must serve the mission. Control your inputs. Starve the trivial. Feed the consequential. Set terms. Enforce them. Because here's the law. Mastery of the clock becomes mastery of the field. When your inner ranks obey, outer ranks fall in line. Meetings bend. Markets yield. Competitors hesitate. Allies align. You become the axis around which the room turns. Rule your time with an iron fist, and you don't just govern your day. You govern outcomes, alliances, and territory. The man who rules his time rules his world, and the man who rules his world decides the fate of others.
Hey guys, we're Strategy, based in Abu Dhabi. We use AI tools to make these concepts come to life, but it's our amazing team who goes deep, breaking down powerful philosophical ideas and showing how they really apply in everyday life. We hope you enjoyed today's content.
Interrogate your failures. When something goes wrong, what's your first instinct? To point fingers? To curse bad luck? To say it wasn't my fault? That's weakness disguised as wisdom. Blame feels good because it numbs the pain, but responsibility cuts deep, and only that cut can heal. Blame is anesthesia, responsibility is surgery. Here's the problem. You romanticize bad luck. You call chaos fate, so you don't have to make hard choices. You wrap yourself in the comfort of saying it was out of your hands. And yes, your hands stay clean, but they also stay empty. Machiavelli would laugh at your excuses. He split the world into two forces: virtù, your will, your force, your daring, and fortuna, the chaos, the storm, the accidents of life. He was ruthless about it. Fortune governs part, but not all. And here's the twist. He admired boldness more than caution. He wrote, "It is better to be impetuous than cautious." Why? Because fortune bends to aggression. Stop waiting for the river to calm. Build the bridge. Cross under fire. Yes, life will ambush you. You will be betrayed. You will lose battles you didn't deserve to lose. But if half of life is chance, the other half is craft, and that half is yours. You own the half that decides the war. So what would Machiavelli do? After every setback, he would take out a sheet of paper and write one title across the top: My Leverage. He wouldn't list who betrayed him, or what the weather did, or how the odds were unfair. He'd list only what he controlled but failed to use. Did you ignore preparation? Did you waste time? Did you hesitate when boldness was demanded? That's your list. And then each line becomes a micro-commitment due within 48 hours. Not someday, not eventually. 48 hours, because power doesn't wait. Next, you install the blame ban. For 7 days, you're forbidden to describe problems in terms of what others did. Only verbs you control. Not "they delayed me." Instead, "I didn't start earlier." Not "the market is bad." Instead, "I didn't adapt fast enough." Do this, and suddenly every problem comes with a lever in your hands. And here's how you sharpen the blade. Reward aggression. Every day, once, pick the hard move. Make the difficult call. Start before dawn. Say the thing no one else dares. Train your instinct toward boldness, not retreat. Excuses are not harmless. They're not soft pillows for your ego. They're diplomatic notes you send to your own weakness. You either burn them or you kneel to them. Be the standard that breaks. Weak men, look around you. Who truly leads? Not the clown with the loudest mouth. Not the paper king with a borrowed title. Power flows to the one who becomes the benchmark. The standard so sharp, so undeniable, that everyone else is humiliated into rising just to keep pace. Status doesn't lead. Standards do. And here's the disgrace of the herd. They preach ideals they can't live. They bark, work hard, stay disciplined, be consistent, while waddling in sloth. They demand punctuality, yet drift in late. They plaster focus quotes online, then drown in dopamine scrolls. And they wonder why no one follows. Because people don't measure your lips, they measure your footsteps. Machiavelli understood this with surgical precision. He warned, men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand. Translation? What they see crushes what they hear. A ruler must appear steadfast, merciful, faithful, unbreakable, yet hold the cold steel to act when it costs blood. Visible code first, enforcement second. Example is propaganda. Discipline is its armed guard. Your habits are not private, they are public policy. Your rituals are a broadcast. Whether you admit it or not, people calibrate themselves against your baseline. If your standard is soft, theirs will rot. If your standard is sharp, they have only two choices: rise or be exposed as weak. So what would a Machiavellian do? He'd forge 3 non-negotiables: sleep window, training, deep work. Miss one, and he'd suffer a penalty chosen in advance. No excuses, no mercy. He'd master silent proof. No slogans, no pep talks, just output. The draft submitted, the feature shipped, the time carved into the track. Work so relentlessly that the evidence humiliates every declaration. He'd install a 30-day, no backslide streak on one pillar habit. Break it, back to day 0. Because a standard that bends is no standard. It's a fraud. He'd script rituals into stone. Same wake time, same pre-battle routine, same closing checklist, no speeches needed. His very presence teaches the room like a lash. When your discipline is louder than your voice, obedience follows. People don't just listen, they yield. They reshape themselves under your shadow. And here is the law. Internal mastery births external domination. The man who holds himself to a merciless standard forces others to rise or be crushed. His discipline becomes the choke chain on the room. His example is not just followed, it commands. Rule the eye, then rule the world. When people look at you, what do they see? Power or hesitation? A leader or another anonymous face in the herd? Understand this, reality matters less than appearance. Men judge with their eyes, not with truth. You may live inside your intentions, but the world only lives with your image. Here's the disgrace. You cling to this infantile obsession with being authentic. You want to be raw, unfiltered, real, pathetic. Who sees your inner truth? No one. They see the mask, always the mask. And if you don't forge that mask yourself, others will weld one onto your face, and it will not serve you. Machiavelli cut straight to the bone. Men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can touch. Translation: no one touches your motives, no one touches your heart. They touch your presence, they touch your posture, they touch the story you project. A prince must appear virtuous, even if he sins in private to secure the throne. Your reputation is your armor. No one audits your motives. They consume your performance. If you appear strong, you become strong in their eyes. If you appear disciplined, men fall in line. If you appear confident, gates swing open. What lies beneath? Irrelevant. That truth belongs only to you. So what would a Machiavellian do? He would codify 3 virtues he wants tattooed on his name: discipline, decisiveness, loyalty. Then he would craft rituals to display them: early arrivals, deadlines met with military precision, public firmness even when doubt gnaws in private, every act staged, every gesture theater. And he would bury his calculations. The blade must never flash until it cuts. Smile at the table. Charm in public. Then negotiate like a predator behind closed doors. Maintain warmth before the crowd, but strike coldly when the moment demands. They must believe the mask, never glimpse the hand. Because perception is not decoration, it is strategy, it is doctrine. Guard it as you guard territory, shape it as you shape steel, build it high, build it wide, build it impenetrable. This is the law. Power is not what you are, power is what they believe you are. Control the eye and you control the mind. Control the mind and the state is already yours. Seize fortune by the throat. Life is not fair. Half of it is chaos. storms, betrayals, accidents, timing. But the other half? That half is conquest. That half is yours. And yet the masses rot in paralysis. They mutter about better timing. They whimper for certainty. They wait for the right moment that never comes. In their waiting, they abandon half their fate to weather and whim. Pathetic. Machiavelli cut the fantasy to ribbons. Fortune is the arbiter of one half of our actions, but leaves us to direct the other half. Translation: yes, luck decides some battles, but never the war. The rest belongs to will. And then he drew blood. Fortune, he said, is like a woman. She bows to the bold and spits on the hesitant. So what does this mean for you? It means uncertainty is permanent. The market will not calm. The risk will not evaporate. The fear will not die. The only real question is simple. Do you strike first or suffer second? What would a Machiavellian do? He would forge boldness into ritual. Each week, one move that tilts probability in his favor. A call others are too timid to make. A proposal others are too meek to send. A decision others are too paralyzed to take. When choices look equal, he defaults to action. Not because every strike is perfect, but because movement itself creates fractures. In war and in life, hesitation is the deadliest sin. And he would condition himself to act with incomplete information, no perfect data, no flawless clarity. He decides anyway. He advances anyway, because the man who marches in fog slaughters the man who waits for the sun. Luck is not loyal. She is feral, ruthless, volatile. But she kneels to one kind of man, the audacious, the one who seizes her throat before she decides where to turn. And here lies the law. Internal audacity becomes external dominion. The man who conquers hesitation bends fortune to his will. He makes probability his servant. He tilts the field until opponents stumble, and when the storm clears, only his banner remains. Finish the foe, salt the earth. Mercy toward rivals wears the mask of nobility. It feels safe, it feels moral. It is cowardice dressed in virtue. You spare an enemy and tell yourself a lie. They won't return. They will. They sharpen while you sleep. They study your soft spots. Your mercy becomes their reprieve to plot revenge. Half measures are invitations, weakness disguised as kindness. You pretend threats will fade. You hope grudges will die. You rationalize half strikes as strategic, pathetic. That hesitation breeds comebacks. What you leave alive comes back stronger. What you fail to finish watches, waits, recalculates. Machiavelli gutted this illusion. Injuries should be inflicted all at once, for if they are prolonged, they will not serve you. Strike clean, strike fast, strike final. A wounded foe plots, a destroyed foe plots nothing. This applies far beyond battle. It's competitors who keep poaching your market. It's recurring vices that keep undoing progress. It's distractions that regenerate every time you half quit them. Half measures make enemies immortal, finish the conflict. So what would a Machiavellian do? He'd name his 3 recurring cancers: the rival stealing clients, the habit that resets your growth, the distraction that hollowed out your hours. Then he'd remove them utterly, replace the system, restructure the battlefield, eliminate the supply lines. No bargaining, no staged retreats, no mercy. Once an enemy is swept aside, salt the earth, destroy the seed, leave no tool for resurrection, make reversal impossible. And here is the payoff. Decisive eradication is not cruelty, it is strategy. Internally, you cultivate iron resolve and ruthless follow-through. Externally, you deter challengers. Markets stabilize under your thumb. Competitors hesitate where they once charged. Habits die and don't return. Your sphere of control grows because nothing is left to undermine it. Power is not won by apologies or second chances. It is secured by final blows. Strike once, strike final. Then govern what remains. Secure the base, then seize the crown. Everyone lusts for the crown. They crave applause, influence, recognition. But here is the iron truth. Without a base, ambition is suicide. A castle built on sand is not a castle. It is a tomb, waiting for the first storm. You chase visibility while neglecting the roots. Discipline, resources, loyalty. Then you wail when everything collapses under the slightest pressure. Glory without structure is not triumph. It is vanity before execution. Machiavelli was mercilessly clear. The main foundations of all states are good laws and good arms. Laws mean order. Arms mean force. Neglect either, and you are already dead. He didn't drown in ideals. He focused on the bedrock that holds power upright. What does this mean for you? Your laws are your systems. The rules, the routines, the silent architecture that governs your days. Your arms are your strength, your body, your skills, your war chest, the tools to defend what you've built. Ignore either, and no charisma, no charm, no clever mask will save you. So what would a Machiavellian do? He'd conduct a ruthless audit. What laws rule your day, discipline or drift? He'd drill his arms daily, train the body, sharpen the craft, fortify reserves. He would not expand, not conquer, not overreach until his base held fast under siege. No new ventures without fortification, no glory before stability. And here is the commandment. In war and in life, expansion without foundation is collapse in disguise. Stability is not boring. It is strategy's mother. A fortified base breeds endurance. Endurance breeds conquest. The man who secures his base bends chaos. He resists storm. And when he finally reaches for glory, he does not gamble. He collects what is already his.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this sparked a new way of thinking, hit like and subscribe to keep the ideas flowing. And don't forget, check the description for the links to the original books and resources we used today. We'll see you in the next one.